Have you ever wondered what connects the millions of American families who came from somewhere else? What single place witnessed more dreams begin than any other in our nation's history? Today, we'll discover how Ellis Island, America's gateway for over 12 million immigrants, was preserved as a national treasure, and meet the very first person who walked through its doors. Did you know that over 40% of all Americans today can trace their roots through Ellis Island? That's more than 100 million people whose family stories began with a journey through the single gateway to opportunity. Stay with me to discover not just how this island was saved on May 12, 1965, but also the remarkable story of the very first immigrant who passed through its doors. A story that might change how you see your own connection to American history. For 62 years, from 1892 to 1954, Ellis Island stood as America's busiest immigration station, a place where hopes, fears, and new beginnings collided. But after it closed, this historic landmark faced an uncertain future. The buildings began deteriorating, and a crucial piece of American history was at risk of being lost forever. Then, on May 11, 1965, President Lyndon B. signed a proclamation that would forever change the island's fate. With a stroke of his pen, Ellis Island was officially added to the Statue of Liberty National Monument, ensuring its preservation for future generations. But to truly understand what Ellis Island means to America, we need to go back to New Year's Day, 1892, when the immigration station first opened its doors. Imagine the scene. A cold January morning in New York Harbor. 3 large ships had arrived the previous evening, filled with immigrants seeking new lives in America. Among them was a steamship called the Nevada, which had sailed from Queenstown, now Cobb, Ireland. On board was 17-year-old Annie Moore and her 2 younger brothers, Anthony and Philip. Their parents had already immigrated to New York in 1888, and now the children were joining them. Little did Annie know, she was about to make history. As the first person to be processed at the new federal immigration station, Annie Moore stepped into American history. When she entered the registry room, a special welcome awaited her. Charles Hendley, a former Treasury official, registered her name as the very first entry in Ellis Island's records. Then, Superintendent John Weber presented her with a $10 gold piece, about $300 in today's money, and wished her a Happy New Year. A Catholic chaplain blessed her and gave her a silver coin. Another bystander even handed her a $5 gold piece. Annie's journey from Ireland had taken 12 days, including spending Christmas at sea. She and her brothers were finally reunited with their parents, who were living at 32 Monroe Street in Manhattan's Lower East Side. While many believed Annie later moved west and died tragically in Texas, genealogist Megan Smoleniak discovered in 2006 that the real Annie Moore never left New York. She married Joseph Augustus Scheyer, a German-American who worked at the Fulton Fish Market, and they had at least 10 children, though tragically, only 5 survived to adulthood. Annie lived the challenging immigrant experience of her time, residing just blocks from where she first arrived in America. She died in 1924 at the age of 50 from heart failure and was buried in an unmarked grave at a Calvary Cemetery in Queens, her story nearly forgotten until researchers brought it back to light. Today, Annie's legacy lives on through bronze statues both at her departure point in Ireland and at Ellis Island itself. Her story represents millions of immigrants who sought better lives through America's Golden Door. When Ellis Island was added to the Statue of Liberty National Monument in 1965, it began a journey toward restoration and renewal. The island underwent the largest historic restoration in U.S. history during the 1980s and reopened as a museum in 1990. Think about it. How different would America be if Ellis Island had been demolished? How many family histories would have lost their beginning chapter? The 1965 proclamation didn't just save buildings, it preserved a sacred place where American dreams began. As you go about your day, consider this. The story of Ellis Island is likely your story too. Whether your family came through its halls or arrived through another gateway, we are a nation shaped by those who sought a better life on these shores. The preservation of Ellis Island connects us to our shared past and reminds us that the American story continues to be written by newcomers who bring their hopes, dreams, and determination to our shores. What immigration stories exist in your family? Share in the comments below. You might discover connections with other viewers you never knew existed. And don't miss tomorrow's video, where we'll explore another pivotal moment that shaped our world. The history we discover together helps us understand not just where we've been, but who we are. If you've enjoyed learning about Ellis Island today, hit that like button and subscribe to History Sparks for more stories that illuminate our shared past.